I just want to kind of set the stage, and then we'll jump into what everybody is looking for, and that's an introductory teams training with Abby Hansen from Ingram Micro. But today's series is what we're calling the Masterclass series, and our goal at SBT is to basically introduce what we're calling the modern workplace and powered by SBT. So that's an overall umbrella of all the services, technologies, and everything the small business needs to run their business in today's environment. So that's the overview that I'd like to talk about real quick, and then we'll go into how Teams fits into that. Sorry. Just real quickly, everybody has been going through a heck of a lot of change. I think everybody can understand that. Basically, up until the 90s, the last few years, technology has been relatively, stagnant. It's been mostly on-premise, easily controlled. Major updates by companies like SBT have been, pretty much standard, things that could be duplicated. Fewer security concerns. IT was really just more of a CapEx strategy. I've got money, let's spend it on IT. Let's see how long we can make this last. Life was a lot simpler back in those days. Fast forward to basically today, technology, we've been living it. It's changing at lightning speeds. Most environments are hybrid, if not cloud already. Mobility is mandatory. Security risks and breaches. I'm sure everybody hears about these things on a daily basis at SBT. We've been helping a lot of clients through some unbelievable situations, financial losses. It's been crazy. Worldwide health pandemics, other controllable acts, updates that are coming out, certifications in our industry with our guys are just more important than ever because a lot of this is new technology coming out. And then introduce X as a service. Instead of that CapEx type of a model, people are looking at X as a service, software as a service, procurement as a service, monthly. So instead of that CapEx, fork over those dollars, let's look at more consuming of this technology on a utility basis for all things IT. And partnering is a requirement. So it's safe to say that the technology environment is basically a little bit more challenging today. So what is the modern workplace powered by SBT? And really what that is just, working with a modern MSP, understanding what, the bundles and licensing that is available at Microsoft, and basically bundling those components with, some wraparound services that SBT provides to provide a small business the full suite of what they need to stay relevant and deliver business in this changing environment. So it's really finding and understanding how to run your business, and then over time aligning that with the technologies and services that companies provide for the small businesses, and using SBT to aggregate those things for you. So that's just kind of the little overview that we have today. Office 365 is a lot more than email, as we all know. There's SharePoint and OneDrive and Teams, the whole cloud aspect of that, virtual server, Azure, Intune, your mobility management, just the security these days that it takes to secure that mobility environment, and then virtual desktops in the cloud. So, all of those pieces, tailored to your environment and then delivered to you on a monthly basis. So that's my quick spiel. I also have a little announcement. We're going to switch this over. Abby, I'll stop sharing my deck for you and you can get ready. But we have a new entry. Joe Penaveria, a good friend of mine, works for Jabra, and he's donated his Jabra 510 appliance. And I maybe Abby can bring up a link of what that is. But how we're going to do this for the giveaway is, Abby, if it's okay with you, we'd like to maybe unmute some people, and when the time is right, this giveaway is going to be based on participation. We've been through a few of these things. We want to see people get engaged and excited, and there, no bad questions, no dumb questions. This is new for everybody. So let's take the fear and anxiety and set it aside, and let's dive in and learn something new today. So with that, Abby, they're all yours. Thank you guys for attending.
Thanks, Dan. Good morning from Fargo, North Dakota. I know everybody is from across the US, and I get to probably sit where it's the coldest in the world on a daily basis. So I'm excited to be here with you today. Like Dan had said, I anticipate lots of questions, so feel free to ask. And then there's also the chat window that's on the right-hand side, and we'll show you how to get there in a moment. So we're going to go ahead and just start in talking a little bit about Microsoft security and how it plays an important role in the world we live in today, especially as a remote workforce. Just a note, we are recording, so if you wish not to be recorded, please drop now. So when we think about our small businesses and the pandemic that we're in, we really need to think about a couple of things. Not only do we need to start thinking about working remotely, but we also need to think about our computer secure while we're working remotely as well. As a small business, 58% of the cyber attack breaches take place in a small business environment. It's important to think about this because hackers aren't really looking at larger businesses, they're looking at smaller businesses because they're more vulnerable. Even more so now that our computers are working at home. Maybe you've let people take them home. They're not on your internal network. They're on their home networks. And so how do you make sure that your business information is still being safe and secure? On average, it's $120,000 for an SMB partner or customer when a breach occurs. This could be downtime for your business, computers going down, sensitive information being leaked. So it's important to think, as a business, am I secure? And 62% of this lack skills in-house to deal with security issues. And that's why it's important to really work with a strong partner like SBT to ensure that your total environment for remote workers, in-house workers, and etc. are taken care of and that your data is being protected. So kind of want to talk and dive into a little bit about Microsoft 365 Business. So back in the day, we're all used to, with Office and Microsoft, having our productivity suite of Office applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and more. And we also have our online services of Exchange, OneDrive, Teams, and many more services that are available in the cloud. And advanced services such as Exchange Online Archiving, where we can save our emails, do a search back from that perspective, which is really important from a productivity standpoint if you're saving documents, to have that ability to do so in case your business gets in legal trouble or an employee quits and they go and they delete everything. You can actually back everything up into the cloud so you really don't lose anything, but that employee may think that you have done so. Microsoft 365 Business now gives you advanced security, and it's such a beautiful story to tell. It gives you external threat protection with advanced threat protection through Office 365. Multi-factor authentication, where people have to use their logins and it's going to log them in through multiple devices. It gives you Windows Defender. So let's say you have links coming into your email. How do you scan those links to make sure that it's not a virus or a worm or something along those lines? Microsoft actually catches that for you before that door opens up. And then enforced BitLocker encryption as well. This is great because if I think about a mobile workforce, I work from home 100% of the time, but I also travel 65% of the time. I know that sounds confusing, but I don't have an office in an office. And so I need to make sure that my computer is safe all of the time. Enforced BitLocker makes it so that only the person using the computer can log into it, like using Windows Hello and them being able to see your face. Also, internal data leak prevention. This is important as well because we don't want to lose our information. We want to make sure everything is secure. And then device management. Even more important now than ever, device management is so important because we are working from home. We may not be working at the Starbucks of the world or on an airplane because of what's going on, but we need to make sure all of our company information while we're sitting in our homes is secure. The other day I was having a conversation and I have 3 kids at home and someone else working here as well. And he was like, you know, we have to put the kids on a different network because the kids are doing schoolwork and they may be logging into things that we have no idea. while they're doing their schoolwork, which could open up threats to what we're trying to do on our network for work. And it hit me at that time that I'm so happy my company has Intune, single sign-on, and is also able to really protect me while I'm here. There's also additional benefits with Microsoft 365 Business where you get Windows 10 upgrade for free. It's a part of the package. And so if you're on Windows 7 still, the time is to move is now because there's no security patches in place for Windows 7. It looks like we do have a question here. Okay, great. Thank you, Tracy. So when we think about Microsoft 365 Business, I want to save you money. And SBT wants to save you money so that you can make more money. What a novel concept. So we know that a lot of customers actually have multiple different products within their environment in order to make their companies run. And if you look here, you probably have different investments made in threat management, file storing, email filtering. All of these on a monthly basis could add up to $100 per person within your company. By working with Microsoft 365 Business, it's getting a new name April 1st. I can't announce it yet. It's only $20 MSRP. And based with services that you may get with SBT, it will actually probably still be a cheaper investment for you. One way to take advantage of Microsoft 365 Business as well is if you're on Office 365 E3, it's the same price, but now it includes security. So these are just some questions to start thinking about differently before we move into the Microsoft Teams questions. Are there any questions on the Microsoft 365 Business and the importance of the security functionality? You can hear my herd of kids running upstairs, so I apologize.
Not a problem. I think we're all dealing with that on some
Yeah.
level.
Yeah, it's good. And I'm actually going to turn my black background blur on real quick because one of my twins ran into a meeting naked the other day. So we're just going to do that, and then I'll show you how to do that in a little while. So, all right, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and talk about Microsoft Teams. Now, it's kind of crazy to me. I came from Microsoft, worked at Microsoft, and the Microsoft Teams message has never been stronger. In 1 week, the user count jumped from 37 million to 44 million users in 1 week. It is the strongest growing platform Microsoft has ever had. Right now, Slack is like at 12 million users, just to put some things in perspective. That usage jumped over 40% in 1 week. And a statistic I found today was over 900 million meeting minutes are being used per week. That's amazing to me. And we're all on this meeting together right now, so we're contributing to that. That just shows that Microsoft has a very stable platform. We're able to conduct business any place, anywhere, and we're able to accomplish our mutual goals. Now I'm going to challenge you, even before we get into the meeting, to turn on your camera if you have one. That way, when you ask questions, we're able to see you. So turning on your camera actually creates and generates teamwork. It creates rapport and builds trust, and it raises your profits. As business owners, and even in my role, I want to be face-to-face with you like we're in a meeting together. And I love this. I always tell my team here at Ingram, I don't care what you look like. Let's turn on our cameras, throw that hair up in a messy bun. If you don't have hair, shine it up, put a hat on, and slap on some makeup. And let's just get down to business.
And I'm just going to show you real quick what we're playing for here. All right. So put those cameras on, and you could have one of these nice Jabra Speak 510, devices, on your desk for your next Teams meeting. So anyway, I'm sorry to steal your thunder, Abby, but I figured I found it and I want to share it.
Awesome.
And that's just what you can do with Teams. That's just what you can do with Teams, right?
Yep, it's awesome. I love it. Hey guys, thanks Jim, thanks Rudy for jumping on. It's great to meet you in person or virtually. And at least we can't get sick from one another, right? And no hand sanitizers needed on this call, which is a beautiful thing. Jen asked a question. Is there a limit number of participants for each meeting? You can have up to 250 people on per meeting. If you get above that, Microsoft does offer what's called live events. Those live events happen with a producer and a presenter, and it's a whole show, which is pretty great. You can also use Yammer live events. Satya at Microsoft actually uses Yammer live events when he broadcasts to the whole company, and you're still able to ask questions via chat. It's pretty cool technology. So great question. It's okay, Jeremy. We're good. We're going to get you hooked up with the camera. All right, let's turn this over to the next one. So I know some of these statistics were so relevant before everything happened like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Small companies are twice as likely to hire remote employees. I think back to my very first sales job with a Microsoft partner, and I was the only remote employee. And as businesses, this is an opportunity for growth for us to be able to continually grow our businesses, save money by having people actually work inside without outfitting an office, paying for additional electricity. And I know that staff at SBT, a lot of them are all remote. And so anything can happen by just enabling the technology that we have.
Yeah, I'll just add to that. We are remote. When we started SBT 11 years ago, we were remote, and we decided that, we're a technology company. Why do we need to invest in brick and mortar? And that has kind of withstanded the test of time. And now it seems like people are catching up to that groove where, your workplace is really where your technology lives. So that can be anywhere.
Yep, that's awesome. Thank you. And 6 times as many small businesses agree that a dynamic team structure is super important and is going to become the norm. I'm sorry, I need to move that over, that you're missing that. It has been said that by enabling Microsoft Teams, you can actually get back 4 hours per week if you're enabled 100% on Microsoft Teams. And you're probably thinking back to yourself, well, how is that able? How are we able to do that? So through the demo today, I'm going to show you how we can get back 4 hours by reducing meeting times, having everything in one location. Microsoft Teams is the central hub for teamwork and collaboration. And what that means at the end of the day is that you shouldn't have to go to any other platform except maybe your Outlook once in a while to do your job. And you're probably thinking, whatever, she's crazy, but I'm going to go ahead and show you that. We also have the ability through Microsoft Teams to help with shifts and task management. And this is pretty cool if you're looking at this screen. If you have workers who are in the field, but maybe not be a frontline worker in your office, but only need to do like task management, shift management, like waitresses or servers, or if you're in a hospital, kitchen staff, custodial staff, sometimes even nurses. The first line worker SKU is great because as you can see here, you are able to see when everybody's shifts are. You're going to be able to put in tasks through activities and be able to understand exactly what's going on in your business. Or even like a grocery store that's showing here. That first line worker had the Teams app on their phone, took a picture and said, clean up in aisle 1. I mean, that's how easy it is for us to be able to communicate with one another. I'm going to go ahead and move over to the live demo. And move my screens around. Any questions so far? Okay. Is there a roadmap to integrate Outlook at some point? You can actually integrate Outlook in a couple of different ways. Microsoft is always evolving. I actually just found out today that you all see 4 people on the screen right now. Within the coming months, you're actually going to be able to see up to 9 people when they're talking. And so every day something is different and it's pretty exciting. Okay. Yep, somebody just asked that. Yep, right now it's just 4 people. Soon it's going to be up to 9. I IM'd Microsoft Engineering right before this call and said, you guys, we need more than 4 people. So they said it's coming. All right. So we are in Microsoft Teams. Congratulations on taking the leap into the meeting so that you're able to see everything that's going on. This is the meeting platform, and I'm going to start right here to start our demo. you're actually going to see how I use Microsoft Teams on a daily basis. So if you have your camera on, that's awesome. If you don't have one, we'll work on it. So your meeting invite down here, or this bar right here, actually shows you the status of everything that can happen in your meeting. We can see that the meeting started 50 minutes ago from a preparation phase. We can also see that we're recording and who started the recording by this red button happening here. Right here on this bar, and all of you would be able to do it as well, you're able to turn your camera on and off. So if you haven't tried it yet, feel free to try to turn your camera on. Here is your mute button. So if you need to mute yourself, please, you can try to do that while you're in the meeting, go on and off with it to test it out. This is where you share your screen. Now I please ask during the demo for nobody to touch this. Yesterday we were giving a demo and we lost what we were sharing 8 times because people were so excited. But I get it because I like to play with things too. This sharing button as well is pretty cool because if you want to, you can just share a document like PowerPoint or Excel and you don't need to share your whole desktop. Now here's where it gets a little fun. You have more actions. In the more actions, you can see your device settings, and these device settings are going to show up over here on the right-hand side. This is going to help you to test your speakers. You can do a custom setup, test your microphone if you want to, and then also test your camera. I work with multiple different products. I have a Jabra Pancast camera as well, which is amazing for small conference rooms. Giving them a plug because they're one of our sponsors for today. And it's actually a 180 camera, so it would show my whole office. So you can show that as well.
Among other things.
Yes. Yep, absolutely, among other things. You are right. And you got to be careful because that's when the naked kids can come really into play if you're working from home. You can enter and show your full meeting details. So if somebody's jumping on the call late, but they're not on yet, the nice thing about a Microsoft Teams meeting is even if you haven't joined, it's still going to pop up in your chat window that it has started. So you can click on this information directly from that meeting. I could enter into full screen mode so you actually don't see the bottom of my screen and on my desktop, and then I can blur my background. So you can see the clock above my head. Yes, it doesn't have batteries. It's really not almost 2 o'clock. I need to do that. It's been up there for 4 years. And if you keep looking at the clock above my head, I can blur my background. So that's going to prevent you, if you're working in a hotel room, from people not seeing that you have not made your bed for the day. Microsoft is also releasing the ability to upload photos, and there will be pre-made photos there, so it'll look like you're sitting in a boardroom. When I worked at Microsoft, I was on what was called the dog food team, so I got to test everything Microsoft put out for Teams. My favorite place to be in the world is Africa, so I would always have a picture of the beach, and so that's kind of cool that you can add some personality there. You can turn on live captioning. Microsoft's mission is to be inclusive, and sometimes I don't understand what people are saying, or I talk really fast, and so it's going to go ahead and translate that to you at the bottom here. And I'm not sure why it's not working right now. Let me go ahead and get out of exit full screen. Turn on live captioning, and let's see if that works. This functionality normally does work, but I think because we have 44 million users using it probably right at this moment, it's not populating. But you can see right here in the left-hand corner that anything that we say will actually be translated. Microsoft translates into 44 different languages. So if you're a global company and you work with people who, let's say, are Dutch, it'll translate from their native language into English inside the platform. Okay, you can also add additional people on the keypad. So if we needed to, we could dial in people directly into this conference call. We can stop recording and we can turn off incoming video. Okay. The next button is the chat button. So if you haven't found that yet, this is a good one to push up if you have questions. And I do see a question, how do you get a dial-in number for a Teams meeting? Those dial-in numbers are actually an add-on licensing. and you can add that on to plans that you may already have. SBT can help you with that. And then you would actually set that up within your admin portal. The number will stay the same, but the PIN changes so that multiple people aren't logging into your number. That's a great question, Brennan. Can you split out the Teams chat function from the main screen during a meeting? It's coming. Pop-out window is coming. And so eventually, I think by April 15th, about that, it'll have that there where you'll be able to pop it out just like Skype used to. Great question. Here as well, it's going to go ahead and show the participants on the right-hand side. So you can see everybody who is in this meeting with us. You can also see that everybody is muted. The person who is talking, so Dan, if you want to go ahead and talk real quick, or Adam, you can see that.
How you doing?
Perfect. Awesome. The person that's talking will actually have a purple ring around them. So if you're in the meeting and somebody is making some ruckus, you can go ahead and just go over and mute that person. If the whole group is being a little bit crazy, you can just go ahead and mute everybody at the same time up here, which is great for larger groups. Okay. Now in the chat functionality, can you mute another person? You can mute another person. Absolutely. Yep. I did it to my coworker the other day because his dog was barking and I couldn't hear. And I wasn't the leader and he got mad at me, but I was like, you gotta make your dog quiet. We couldn't hear you. So absolutely you can. Here's the chat functionality as well. We're gonna dive in deeper to this because the chat functionality in Teams is the same within meetings. But I do wanna show you, if you're in a fun meeting, you can add in a bunch of different apps. So like if I wanted to, I could add in my weather into this app. Okay. There we go. Can you view participants in chat at the same time? You can actually double click on that participant if you wanted to chat directly with them, you would be able to do so. And one way around, if you're in Teams and you're in a meeting, but you still need to remain productive, is to open up teams.microsoft.com and have a browser window open as well. Because the pop-up window hasn't been released to the general public yet, you'll be able to have multiple Teams conversations on the web as well as on your desktop. Or if you have it on your phone, you can also chat directly from here as well. So it's multiple use, all active at the same time. Can you see that? Okay. Oh, it's blurry because I'm on black background blur. Don't say that 10 times fast. Let me show you real quick. Okay. So that's the thing. If you have your background blur on and you want to show something off of your phone, make sure to turn it off because it focuses so well. Okay. Questions on meetings real quick. Okay. Now up in this upper right-hand corner, Microsoft is great at showing presence awareness. Presence awareness lets you know when you're presenting, so nobody can actually ping me or a notification won't pop up that I'm in a meeting because I'm in a meeting. You can show when you're available. This will actually change across the platforms into SharePoint, Yammer, OneDrive, Outlook, etc. It'll change every platform. You can set a status message. So this status message can be something that you want just in Teams. Once your out of office message is set in Outlook, it'll actually go into Teams as well so that people know when they're in Teams that you're out of office, and it will pop up when they're trying to send you a message. You can also go into your settings. So the settings here allow you to have some personality. You can set your theme. I like mine dark because it's nicer on my eyes, and it helps to save energy on my computer. You can also change the language that's here as well. From a privacy perspective, you can manage your priority access, turn on your read receipts. Read receipts are nice. I like to know that my information has been read. So when somebody has read my chat, a little eye will show up. You can set your notifications here as well. So the notifications will show when you're mentioned, how you want to be, interacting with people. Where do you want to know when you have another chat come up like this right-hand corner? Mine pops up that I have a new message. You can test your devices in here, make a test call. And you have your permissions that you can turn on and off. And then if you have the telephony portion enabled, you can configure your voicemail, do call forwarding, and it'll act just like a normal telephone system. Okay. I have a picture associated with my 365 account and internal folks can see it, but it doesn't show up here. Does it not transmit for external meetings? Jeremy, you would need to go ahead and let it transmit inside the admin portal on how you want it to show up for external people. Yeah. And that's great too. Like you can change your picture here as well. So if you don't have a picture, you can put one up there. Good. All right, now we're going to get into the fun of it. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the activity section. This activity section is the feed. So in your feed, you're able to see when you're mentioned. So you can see Marie sent me something this morning. There was a red number 1 up there. Is there any pre-built campaign marketing material? I know exactly that she's needing me now, and it went to one of the teams I've created. It'll also show if I've had a chat that I need to reply to. So the feed is kind of like your feed from Facebook. So if you are laying in bed every morning, you pull up your Facebook feed, this is kind of the things that it's going to pull you to look at things. Then you have the chat functionality. Chat is fun and it can get super creative. And so from the chat, you can see that the chat for this meeting is actually already started here as well. So we can see all the questions that have come back and forth. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use chat with different people. So we're going to go ahead and start that now. Up here on the top, you can create a new chat. There's the box here with the pencil. I'm going to go ahead and create a chat with Dan. He's external to my network. And I'm going to go ahead and create one with Tracy. Okay. Now, because I have 2 people here, Tracy and Dan, and myself, I can actually go ahead and name this chat. This is what's called a group chat. If any questions come up, Dan, can you please let me know because I'm unable to see them. Okay. This test chat, well, we're working on a project with SBT. So we're going to call it customer project 2.20, or that's not the date, 3.24.20. Okay. Now we can see, I'm going to go ahead and just write hello, that it automatically names that. This is great because I'm going to be working on this project with these 2 for probably about 1 or 2 months. So what I want to do is go ahead and just pin this chat to the top because I don't want it to get lost in my other chats that I have down below. So Tracy, Dan, if you could just write back hello into the chat. Okay.
Oh, did you, yep, Tracy, you can do, I have to log out and go into my Ingram one and that'll take me off the call and I didn't get set up for the web, so.
Abby, you can add me and I'm in both.
Yep, there you go.
See if I can add you real quick.
Always better in a demo to add the technical guy. I'm
Yep.
here to wave.
You can see over here in the right-hand corner, I can add Adam up in the.
Perfect.
I could also include all of the chat history as well, which is nice. So if you have a long chat history that you're going back and forth on, you don't have to actually go in and explain to them the conversation, right? They're going to be able to read it. This will save you time, and they're already in the loop of things. So I'm going to go ahead and add Adam as well. Okay, you can see that I added Adam to the conversation. Oops, I made a mistake, and now I need to delete Adam. He's not supposed to be here, or we're going to actually remove Dan. So I can remove Dan as easy as I added him. And now Dan is gone. Okay, so it's great to see that you can add in people and delete them as fast as you added them. Okay. Woohoo, that's awesome. You're always jump ahead there, Adam. Down below, you're able to set up your messaging here. So I'm just going to type, are you ready to rock this customer deployment? Okay. So because it's built like Word, I can go ahead and bold it, italics it, underline it. I can even highlight it if I want to cause a sense of urgency, let's say. And talking about a sense of urgency, I can also create that within my message by clicking important. So it's going to show up important here. And when I send it, it's actually going to show up as important in my activity section. The next one is kind of fun because I can create a sense of urgency as well. If I click urgent, it's actually going to ping those two for every 2 minutes for 20 minutes until they answer my message. Now, this can get kind of sticky, so don't abuse it within your companies because I still want you to have a job. But if you think about the bigger picture, let's say you have people that work on network fiber and they work on the 911 system and that fiber is cut. You were able to ping them from headquarters saying X location fiber cut, put in urgent. If they're not answering their cell phone, they're going to have all the information in their messaging. Or in a healthcare situation, doctors dealing with critical patients, you're able to put urgent, it's going to buzz on their hip where their phone is, and you're going to be able to help them in that way. So you can really think outside of the box there. And talking about the urgent part as well, Microsoft soon is going to be introducing the Teams walkie-talkie functionality, where you can go into Teams, click the button, actually go right into that person versus calling them. So some pretty cool things are going to be happening. But for the case of my two friends here, I'm going to go back to a standard message. We're also able to upload documents and collaborate with one another at the same time. Okay. So here we can go ahead and upload a PowerPoint presentation. Give me 1 second.
Ashley has a question, but we did answer that question. It says if you add someone to the chat, can they see what was said prior to the chat, to the date and time? That is optional. You get that option when you add someone to the chat. So Abby, if you want to just click that icon, and if you wanted to try add Dan back, you could show him.
Yep, so up on this right-hand corner, I can go ahead and add Dan back in. It's going to give me the option to include chat history, only include it from the last day, or include all of the chat history. I'm going to go ahead and let Dan see all of it. Okay, so now down below here, we have the SBT demo PowerPoint. So Microsoft is awesome because now are the days where we no longer have to send a PowerPoint or an Excel spreadsheet back and forth, wait for the information, see the changes, make the changes, kind of recognize where the mistakes are. We can all take care of it at the same time. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask Adam and Tracy to open the PowerPoint with me. So in this PowerPoint, we can choose to do a couple of things. We can choose as a group to edit it directly in here. And I'm going to have them actually edit directly in the Teams. But because I like to see everything open, I can open it in my desktop. And I do that by clicking these 3 dots here and click open. Now you can see on my desktop that I have the PowerPoint being presented. I need to make sure though, and this is super important, that I'm not saving this locally or the changes that are going to be made won't happen. So up here in the left-hand corner, you can see the save button. If the save button does not have the circle, that means it's being saved locally. So do not go in and click save as, save to desktop. Just click this button to save and it will save directly back to the Teams. Now I can see that Adam is in here with me. Adam and I can go ahead and edit this document together. Edit page 1, rename title. Okay. Now, since Adam's in there, he can actually go ahead and edit as well. And I know Adam's in there because he is in purple. And, oh, he misspelled. I can actually go in there and change it for him. Okay? So you can see that collaboration can happen on the fly. This is really great if you're in a finance department and you need to edit a spreadsheet or work on formulas. And let's say you don't know how to do a VLOOKUP, you could actually do all that together at the same time and use it from a training perspective. Okay. Now, as I click save here and I close out of this window and come back, it's going to refresh for me. And because it's built and done on the cloud, you can see that it automatically saved into Teams. And I can still see that Adam is here as well. Questions on the collaboration part?
No questions, but more so a comment. From real world experience, we started working with this and implementing this about a year ago, and this has fundamentally changed the way SBT conducts meetings internally, manages documents, information, everything. It really has transformed efficiencies in a very fast-paced business for us. So this stuff does work.
Great, thank you. So let's say we're 5 days into this project and this document has been hidden and I don't want to have to go and scroll through everything. There's a solution for that. Microsoft has built in files. So the files are automatically saved directly there for you. So you can go in and edit them directly from this section. You'll also be able to see who the last person was in there to edit it and when it was saved. So there's some great functionality from that perspective. Okay. We can go back to chat.
We have another question, Abby, from Tammy. She has a colleague on the call. She does not have the conversation icon in the bottom bar. I think that's just because you actually have to click on the chat window in the bottom bar to show it. So Tammy, if they want to try that, next to the 3 dots in the presentation, you see a little hide and show conversation.
Yep, so if we go back into here.
That's what's actually doesn't have that hide conversation.
Here's the chat window right here. Are you seeing this? Are you in the web browser, Tammy? Okay, we'll go ahead and continue. Tammy, if you're unable to find it, please just let us know. Okay, so we can go back into our chat. Oh, great. Thanks, Tammy, for the update. All right, back into chat. We can have some fun too, right? We're all working from home. Last week, Friday, I think there was 60 of us. We had a virtual happy hour. Our whole team got on Teams. We all had a drink in our hand at 3:30 in the afternoon, showed our pets and our families. And so there's a great way for us to be able to be real collaborative and still maintain a sense of normalcy right now, or normalcy. So we can go ahead and do emojis if we wanted to. We can add in GIFs, have some fun, and we can even create memes. And you can change the names on here. So if you wanted to, you can type in your own and add that to it as well. So it's kind of fun to be able to create some fun. Now, the next part is I know that I'm going to need to be working with Dan and Adam and Tracy a lot on this project. And chat's just not going to do it. I need to remind them that we're going to need to meet on a daily basis. I can actually create a calendar request directly from chat. So down here on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and click create a meeting. I can add a title, recurring sync. Now I can see Tracy's internal because she's colored, and Adam and Dan are external, so they're a different color. I can go to my scheduling assistants to make sure they're available. So this is going to go ahead and pull up the calendar request. At this time, it can also add in additional attendees if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and schedule this from 11:30 to 12 every day. I'm going to repeat it weekly. But I know that I only need a 15-minute sync. I don't want to drive them totally crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and just change it to 11:45. So a 15-minute sync every day. Now, because it's built in Teams, you don't need to go to your Outlook or go anywhere to submit the link to go in there to dial in. It's automatically going to create that for you. So what I can do is actually click send. It's going to be reoccurring on their calendar. If I go to my calendar over here, and yes, it's been busy, you can see that reoccurring meeting has popped up. I can go ahead and open up that reoccurring meeting, and I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. So as easy as it went on is as easy as it can go off, and you can cancel that series. So pretty easy from that perspective. Now, the next functionality is Microsoft Stream. And we're all working right now from home, and we're having our conversation as we talk. What I'm going to be able to do within the meeting is I can actually record a video. So if I'm a salesperson out on the field, or I'm working on some machinery, for example, in a manufacturing plant, and it breaks because a wire was on fire, I can actually go ahead into my camera in my Teams mobile app, turn it to video, and you're going to be able to see everything I'm working on in my office. Okay. Click stop, and I'm going to go ahead and be able to upload this directly into my chat. You can see how quickly this is done. This is more effective, secure, and efficient because everything in Microsoft Teams is encrypted. If you're using a different platform like text, that can get lost in cellular data. So now you can see here that everything is included within Microsoft Teams in the video. It'll just take a moment to stream. Has to go from area to area. But you can see on my phone that the video is there. Everything I'm working on in my office. Okay.
And Abby, that feature does work. That's something that we utilize from time to time to help us, gather on-site information from technicians and engineers and share that real time with our other team members and clients or other partners. So it is a function that is used, quite frequently.
Yeah, it's so great. A lot of people will use it, like even remote health workers are using it now, so that a doctor could see a patient in their home. They upload the video into like their MyChart or through Teams to be able to talk back and forth. And the nice thing is that movie is also shared in the file section.
Exactly. And I think the main thing is, from a business owner perspective, all of this activity is happening securely on a platform that you control and manage. In the past, you'd had all these devices and everything would be everywhere. And, people would have documents stored locally on laptops and turnover and all of those things. So this gives you, from a business ownership perspective, that consistency to have all of your company data in a single place, protected, and where you have control over the full access to everything.
Yeah, that's great. You can also send praise to people. So if you're having team meetings or company meetings, you can send praise. You can preview it. It's going to go ahead and show up directly in that meeting as well. And then there's a bunch of other apps. I showed you the weather before. You can upload YouTube and different things as well. So from this chat perspective, we've been going back and forth. Up on top here, we're still working on this customer project. We had uploaded a PowerPoint earlier, but now we know we need to be in that PowerPoint every day. So we're just going to name it SBT, click on that PowerPoint, and click Save. This PowerPoint is going to show up here. And I think we're having some problems today, but it does show up here, and I'll show you how it looks in Teams. Okay. Over here on the right-hand corner as well, you can see the people. You're going to be able to share your screen. And if we all had to be on a phone call at the same time, I could just click audio call, and then I could also click video call. Questions on chat?
Abby, it looks like the live captioning is working again as well too. So
awesome. It's just taking a bit today. So we can go ahead and pop that back up in the window. Yep, you can see it down on the bottom.
44 million users in a week will do a little bit of lag time.
Right. Or it could be, it's cold in Fargo. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about Teams. So from the team's perspective, you can see here that I have a bunch of different teams that are already built. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. And the team section here, we're able to see different hierarchies of how you can set things up in your organization. And so a team is the name. So if you have a sales organization, you would maybe name it sales. And then in that sales organization, you would have what are called channels. So the channels are like the general, accounting, leadership, marketing, and traveling nurses, for example. The general tab includes everybody you've invited to that team. So everybody can contribute there. That can be your free-flowing conversation, announcements, etc. The next is, this is a public team or channel, but I also have private channels here as well. So you can see the private channels. Only people who have been invited to private channels are asked to participate or included, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I think there's a question that's coming up in the window over here. Oh, wrong one. I have multiple people, I am and me on my other screen. So over here, you can see, I'm gonna show you how I use Teams on a daily basis. So I have personally created a team for myself because I am on the road when I'm able to fly. And you can see in my posts, this team is just a team of myself. I have my Twitter included here, so I don't have to go out to Twitter to see what's going on. So I have all the tweets for Microsoft Teams that are included in one location. And you can see that they come in as they're able to. I have my files here as well. So if I was ever stuck in an elevator with someone, all I would have to do is pull that information up directly from my cell phone, and I can access those files directly from here. I very rarely open my computer when I'm on the road. I have a wiki, which I don't use here, but I'll show you how I use a wiki in a different way in a different team. I also have my Microsoft Teams resources. And everything is a little bit crazy today, but you can see that the phone, like I have all of my notes for OneNote here as well. So it's integrated from my desktop app. So anything that I include from my desktop app will automatically transcribe into my OneNote in my team section. So I don't have to go anywhere to look for additional information. I also have Ingram Micro Cloud. This is one of the websites that I go into on a daily basis. I don't want to have to open a computer, log in. I can actually do it directly through here because it's saved as one of my favorites. I also have my dynamic CRM built directly in, where I can log in here and do all of my dynamics work and my customer information work directly through here as well. I have my home button, which goes to my internal SharePoint site with some quick links that I'm working on. I also have my travel calendar. So with the travel calendar, for example, or you can name this your PTO calendar, people can actually go in, edit directly from this calendar, and work directly from here. So if you're a manager of a department, you can have this all located in one location. I also have my search engine here. I can search for anything here. And then this was part of a demo I did yesterday. I also have Microsoft Planner, and that's an app that's included within Teams. So if I wanted to, and you're planning a project rollout, you could actually do stage 1, set up a date for the first stage 1 due. I'm going to assign it to myself, okay? And I'm gonna add that task. Through here, you're going to be able to see who has been assigned what. You can include documents like Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoints, instructions, and then when that person completes it, you can go ahead and just mark it as complete. You can see that, and then it's complete. And you can see the 2 completed items that are down below. So it's nice if you're a manager and you're waiting for things to get done. It's a great app there. So those are just some of the apps that I use personally to do my business.
So if I could just interject here, I mean, this right here is the section that hopefully people are starting to see some light bulbs go off. You know, everybody's been asking for that single, kind of pane, that single application where you can get access to posts, collaboration, files, wiki, different websites, different applications. And what she just outlined for you is a way where you can set up a channel within Teams and then populate that based on the accounting people, the sales people, and what they need to do their job, and fully integrated down to the mobile device, where the mobile device can pick up and you can edit on the fly, really providing that power of mobility to the workforce. And I'm telling you, this is what increases efficiencies. When we're talking about getting back hours, that's what the name of the game is now. How can we do more with time? Time is the biggest thing that we're trying to create more of. And really how these components all work together and serve you up all the tools you need to do your business is what we're trying to outline for you today. So thank you, Abby.
And there was a great question in the window about, can you add people from outside your organization? You absolutely can. So I work with a bunch of different Microsoft partners. I've actually created a Microsoft Partners Teams channel. And in this Teams channel, they all have access. It's just on how you set it up in your network. And so are you going to allow external people in? And SBT is very good at helping you set up that information. The admin portal is critical to your success in Teams. So you want to make sure you have a well thought out process there. But you can see here that I have multiple people, 56 people from an external standpoint as part of this one channel to give them information. And part of my wiki that I had showed you earlier, this is how I use my wiki. So I'm actually giving them training opportunities and I'm building it out so they have all of that information in one location.
Yeah, and think about a wiki as being your company intranet portal. How to keep information at people's fingertips without fumbling through, and who sent that email and who did this and where did they put that file. This is solving all of those problems.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't add people that don't have Office 365 in your team, but you're able to include them in the meetings and the conference calls because they can log in via the web browser. Okay. Another great part about the team, so I'm just going to go back to my field team resources, is that if I wanted to, let's say as a team, we're trying to move everything to Teams, but we still have external communication that needs to happen via Outlook with our customers. We can actually get an email address for this team and copy it. And then we're able to send an email. I'm going to go ahead and do that directly to the channel. So I can put that here. If it came in, I can forward it so the whole team can collaborate on the solution in one location. So I'm going to just go ahead and name this test and click send. Now, as I go back to my team section and I click F5, it's going to go ahead and update it. This will probably be a little slow as well today, unfortunately. There it is. You can see that the test document came in. So now down below, I can go ahead and work with my team on the resolution. After we have a resolution we all agree in, we can click View Original Email. It's going to go ahead and pop up for you. And you can go ahead and reply back to your customer with the resolution you came up on with a team. As we know, some resolutions in Outlook can take 15 to 20 emails. This is how you get time back in your day, by actually opening up a form of communication, looking back at that original email. Pretty cool, huh?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So we're going to show you real quick how easy it is to create a team. So down below, we can join or create a team. You may already have teams that are open in your organization. I'm going to go ahead and create a team. I can build this team from scratch or create it using a template that's already been created. I'm going to build it from scratch. Because this is going to be a finance team, I'm going to make it private. Internal finance. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and create. Nice work. Pretty quick. I can go ahead and add Tracy to this team. I'm going to go ahead and add Melissa to this team as well. And then I'm going to add Dan, because Dan's my consultant. Okay. And I'm going to add Adam as well, because they're my consultants with my company. So this is a way, because they're already federated, to be a part of this team right when I create it. Okay, you can see here that these guys are members, but because they're inside my org, I need to make Tracy an owner and I need to make Melissa an owner. It's important to have a backup plan. And I hate to say it, but you never know what tomorrow will bring. You might leave the org, you might get sick, something might happen. So you want somebody to be able to take control of that for you as a backup. Adam and Dan are my guests, and it's going to show us that they are the guests. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Now this is an internal finance team. In your admin portal, you are able to make it so it is confidential as well. So if you create your team in a different way, you could have confidential teams where everyone in your org knows that any information that comes through this team cannot leave your organization. So the general tab, I'm just going to go right hello. Let's see, Adam is already on it. He's already created a part of my internal team. Here as well, I can go ahead and edit my team. I'm going to be able to change it. I can change my privacy from public to private because it doesn't need to be external anymore. I can go ahead and get a link for the team. So if I needed to invite the whole org, I could actually send an email saying join it via this link, and then you're going to get approval requests. You can see that they tagged me. Adam tagged me. Okay. You can add channels as quickly as you made the team. I can change my privacy to private, and we're just going to say this is for Charlotte Finance. So then only people who deal with Charlotte Finance are going to be added to that team. I'm going to skip that quick. So it's pretty easy to make that channel. Now the channel or team was made by mistake. I can go ahead and delete the team as quick as I made it. And it's important when you think about your team structure, how you want your channels and your hierarchy and everything set up. So it's a great time to really sit down with SBT and think about what is important to make you run effectively. Okay, any questions on the teams and channels? Yes, there is a way to limit access. You just do that in the private setting.
But that's, she's asking within a channel, can you go get a tab, which I don't think you can do, right?
Within a tab, no, you're correct. Yep. Is there a sort of OneNote for multiple people? Yes. So when you create your OneNote, and I should have did that in there, I can do it here. I'm going to go to the general tab, and this is my demo site. I can go ahead and create a OneNote here. I can create a new OneNote. I'm going to name it company-wide. Okay. And click save. Now this new tab that's being developed will be for everybody who is in that channel, but it's also searchable. So as you're going into your OneNote, which I have here, you can actually go into, sorry, my mouse is there. You can go in and you can open other notebooks. And it takes a minute to provision, so it's not going to show up right away, but you can search for it, work on it from your desktop, but everybody who's in that channel will actually have access. Great question. All right.
Yes. Look, while we're in OneNote, let's kind of show them how SBT uses OneNotes for meeting tracking and some other things. We kind of use OneNote as a wiki, how you kind of use your wiki.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and take control and run that part?
All right. So, and again, I'm external. I asked for control, and I'm now able to control her screen. You can see where my mouse is with the A and her mouse with the little picture. So, you know, so what SBT uses a lot of OneNote for is documentation. So we're doing installs. We're taking pictures of all these installs. So any tech can come back behind the scenes and look at things. We're tracking our meetings in here. If you have your phone, you can actually pull up the same OneNote, take a picture, it uploads right to here, but just say, for a real common thing is company-wide. You know, I don't like using the non-app version, but so let's put in today's date, 3.
There you go.
I guess we'll let me use my number pad.
You can open it in the app. Do you want to open it in the app?
Yeah.
See, one of the things is just all the different ways in which you can use it. A lot of this boils down to personal preference. So you can see Abby does it one way, Adam does it another way. You know, there's many different ways to get to the same data and shape it the way that you want it.
Here you go. You can, mine looks different here, but you can go ahead and just go right off of here if you'd like.
All right.
Mhm.
So we would say this is our sales meeting or whatever meeting it is. And we'd have a, you know, this could be our meeting book or something like that. And then, you know, every week we would have 3 dash. Remote control function. There we go. 3-24-2020. And then we have our notes. One, section 2, whatever we cover. And then say, you know, it's now 4/1 or whatever next week, next time we have the meeting is. If you go down to move and copy, you can just click copy. My mouse there. Oops. Did I not copy it to the right book?
You can go ahead and paste it. Yep, you're right. Go up.
Well, if you go to copy, so if you use copy versus paste and you go to sales meetings, Abby, you want to browse to sales meetings? I don't know what book it's in.
I have a lot of them.
So what you guys are witnessing is a typical meeting. I mean, this is what we do on a daily basis with people popping in, figuring out where stuff is stored, and you know what I mean? But it's collaborating all on the single page. And at SBT, we have literally saved hours and hours and hours because what he's building is a repository of past meeting data history. So we can go back in some cases to the weekly meeting a year ago and see what the the things that we were discussing at that point, what were the good, bad, and indifference and so forth. So it's, again, building that repository, that data of information for us that we need, that, because we got to go back and source our knowledge base in a lot of cases. But, this is just something that we can build on, and it really provides organization for for a very unorganized, chaotic environment that we live in.
So again, if you do come over here and you do copy, if you put in a bunch of formatting and stuff like that, it'll actually keep all the formatting. If you just copy and paste it, it won't keep all the formatting. So lots of little tricks to learn, things I like in regular OneNote to make my OneNote more functional, which, I love pinning this here. And I can easily move back and forth between my books, and I don't want to open up any of Abby's stuff, but just having that paperclip there makes my OneNote so much more functional for me.
You can leave it. I'm learning a lot right now.
And I can just tell you from personal experience, change is hard. I mean, especially being someone who's been in technology your entire life, and you think you know how to use something, and then they change the game. So everybody, what they have done is just optimize a lot of the Microsoft product line and serve it up in a way that's very intuitive. And so I would say get over that fear. If you're like me and you have a little fear of getting to know something new, get in there and play around with it. Any information you can provide a company like like SBT or us, hopefully, to help you define how you want this to set up, is more information for us to kind of mold and take you down the journey. So a lot of information here. You're not going to learn all of this in an hour and a half, 2 hours. But like I said, hopefully a lot of this stuff we'll pick up on and over time getting a little bit more advanced training and getting certain components and all different components of what you're seeing here, which is the modern workplace.
I want to show you 2 more apps that I use, and then we'll go ahead and go into the calendar again. So when I first started at Ingram Micro, I walked around the floor, and there's thousands of people that work there. I was there for training, and there's these potluck sheets up on the wall, or asking what your t-shirt size is, and people have to go and write their information in and then type it out and then send it in an email. And Microsoft Teams can actually make things a lot more easy for you through using Microsoft Forms. And I think I have to log into this real quick, so just give me a second.
This is one of the unfortunate requirements of today's modern workplace is security and multi-factor authentication. It's required. If you don't have that today, please take that from this meeting that it needs to be a process for your business.
And you can text it, you can text that code to you, or you can actually use a code. So it's texting it to me right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that code in. Okay.
There's lots of ways to do that. Text, phone calls. You can push it to your phone and accept it, so you don't actually have to even type in anything too.
Yeah, it's great. You can do multi-factor authentication with just approving it through the MFA app on your phone. But here, and this says, would you rather go to a sporting event, or what would you like to do for your holiday party? So you can do forms here to create things easier. Then you get the responses, and then you're able to open up those responses in Excel. It's great, especially if you're ordering things for your team, like sweatshirts and stuff. You'll always have their sizes in one location. The other one that I like is Power BI. So if you're using a lot of data, you're able to build that analytical data directly into Teams. And so you're able to see how trends and everything changes and see it all in one location. So Power BI is also a really cool part of that. You have Poly that's available for a survey taking form, Microsoft Flow. And then if you have documents and things that need to be signed, Adobe Sign is built in directly into Teams. So if you have an Adobe account, this is also a great way to use it. You'll see the way that it goes through the stages, who signed it. It'll show up as a chat, so it'll give you a notification. And so it's really changing the way that we do business. So those are just a couple of the ways that I use Teams. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the calendar section, and I know we have about 19 minutes left, so I want to make sure we use this to the full functionality. You can see here that the meeting I'm in is highlighted. It's being recorded because there is a camera there, and we have a bunch of different meetings on the calendar. I have the ability to meet now, which I'm not going to click because I will lose you, or create a new meeting. This new meeting here you can title, and you can actually add it to a channel. So if I was going to meet with my sales team every week, I could actually, we'll just pick it from here, make this meeting directly from the demo site. And I did that with all of my partners actually, where we were going to meet inside my partners channel. The benefit of this is that the recording will stay in that channel. All of the documentation we go over will stay in that channel, as will the chat. So we have a conversation history, which is super important for things we have to go back on. Okay, and then you would put your information there. Again, you don't need to insert a link because it's going to show up there for you. So Teams is pretty cool. And then the scheduling assistant from that part. So that is calendar, and it'll show up again directly in Outlook. Calls is the way of the future. If you have a phone system that was with a local telco, you can actually do what's called direct routing and push those through Teams. So all of your phone calls can happen through your Teams app. I actually make my phone calls through my Teams app right here on the bottom. You can see it there. Or like we're doing here, we can talk directly through our computer. You can see I have my speed dial set up. Also other suggested contacts. I can do new groups. So if I have different vendors I work with, I can set them up as different vendors. I have my other contacts that are here that I call, so you can add additional contacts. You see my history that is here of all of the calls that are outgoing and ingoing or even missed. And then you have your voicemail. What's cool about your voicemail is that when someone leaves you a voicemail, it will automatically transcribe and send you an email. If they're part of Teams or in your network, all you have to do is send them an email back. You don't have to call them. Or you can move it to Teams and make the chat there. So that's pretty cool. And I probably should show you how to do that real quick. So you can actually see here that, and it has to be from at a meeting event. We'll just do it from here. I'll just pull up this meeting from Aaron. All I have to do is, this email has been going back and forth for a really long time. I can actually go and make it a chat. And let's see, or create a meeting directly from here as well. So if I wanted to, I could create a meeting directly from Outlook, insert my Teams meeting link, and then send it from there as well. So there's a bunch of different options when it comes to all of that. Can you make a call external to your org? Absolutely. If you have that functionality enabled with the right licensing type, you can just make a phone call directly from here, like a normal telephone system. And what's super cool about it is that you can do call queues if you're in a call center functionality. It'll work just like a normal phone system.
Yep, and you can add that to your cell phone, make phone calls out your office phone number from your cell phone. I mean, SBT, we switched from a full-blown Cisco phone solution to Microsoft Teams almost a year ago now, and it gets better and better every day with the new functionality. Yes, you may be lacking a few functions, but the phone system's only going to get better every day it goes on.
And I can just say, for anybody who's interested in going down that road, don't be like us and don't buy everybody handsets, because everybody decided they wanted to use the non-handsets. So, you know, that's another one of those things where you get over that fear of getting away from what you used to know, that physical handset, and now you're moving into the modern workplace and everything is interacting there and it's moving from phone to computer to, you know, handheld. So it's really just a part of an extension of you, whatever device, wherever you need it, at your fingertips, the data, everything.
There's also like quiet hours in the phone system. So if you know you set it up on your cell phone, but you don't want calls after 5 o'clock, you just set the little function so it's not going to ring your cell phone after 5 o'clock, and yet you can still stay signed into Teams.
That's great. And you can set up Teams meeting rooms as well. And so if you want, you can have a panel where you walk into that conference room, you just click the panel, it'll automatically dial you into that Teams meeting room. So if you have locations in different places, that's great as well. The possibility is really endless when it comes to Microsoft Teams. The last part I want to show you is files. So Ingram Micro is built in a OneDrive environment, meaning I can never save anything locally to my computer. This is beautiful because I hate the blue screen of death. And we've probably all experienced at one point in time in our life. So every file that I work on is automatically saved into Teams, and you can see it here. Any file, if you don't have a OneDrive environment, is automatically saved here as well. So you don't have to go search in a certain team or a chat. You're automatically going to be able to see what you've worked on. So you can see the company-wide OneNote was here that we created, the Microsoft resources we were in, and even the demo file that we popped up. You can also ping apps over here that you use a lot. So like I just pinned my app of OneNote there as well. Okay. And that is Microsoft Teams. Do we have questions? You can open
Pretty
it up.
powerful stuff. Pretty powerful stuff. Thank you, Abby.
You're welcome.
I will take back control here as my phone rings.
If there's any questions, you can open up your microphones or put them in the window. Can you organize the files like you would in a real folder structure? You absolutely can. You can do them A to Z and put them in there as well. There's a sorting functionality within the files.
Okay, so where do we go from here? I know that we threw a ton at you guys. And again, our commitment to the small business and obviously our clients is to continue this masterclass series. And again, we want to approach this as the modern workplace, but we know that there's a lot of these pieces that, you know, fit into what we anybody who attends these classes, what we're going to offer is a 20% discount on any professional services engagement, a Teams project, whatever the case may be. We also, you know, anybody who's interested in saying, you know, this is the direction I want to go. I don't know how to get here, but I want a partner to, you know, help us design this, implement it, support it, the whole 9 yards. You can go to our website here, basically click this link, and it'll take you to a total IT service management form where you can listen and learn a little bit more about SBT, give us some information about your environment, and we can start you on your journey. We'd be happy to obviously work with anybody who's interested. See if we can get back to my PowerPoint. Also, 20% on whatever turn-up project to get you kind of set up for support, or the combination of a Teams and a turn-up. In some cases, that's the best way to do things, where we're implementing, you know, the Teams collaboration platform and a new way to support that. And like Abby alluded to, over time, all of these cloud-based applications are just going to ultimately update themselves. So the other component is technology as a service. That's delivering all of those things, including the support that you need and project services, everything that you would need to keep your business running. And at SBT, to do a project to Teams or to upgrade Exchange or whatever the case may be, we offer 0% financing for any professional services for 12, 24, 36 months, which means, if there's a project to do Teams at price of X, we'll give you the ability to spread that price and add that monthly number to your existing monthly contract for that term at 0% financing. Our goal is to help you optimize this on a monthly basis and get you guys using this stuff so you can see that return, on time, which is what we're all looking for more of. So with all that, like I said, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you have any additional questions, now's the time to shoot those out, and then we've got to figure out who's going to go home with a Jabra speaker. So with that, I'll just open it up to everybody, and I hope this was beneficial.
Feel free to take yourself off mute, talk, and ask questions, or.
I had a question. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
All right. I was wondering if you could disable the phone calls through the mobile app, but leave phone calls on the desktop app simultaneously.
It's a great question.
That's a great question coming from an SBT guy. What are you doing, buddy? We're working on that. All right. That is what's called a bug fix that is hopefully going to be addressed over time. But that's one of the problems, or not problems, but one of the growing pains of a new and emerging platform. So go ahead, Abby, if there's something else you want to add to that.
No, you're absolutely right. And if you have your mobile and your computer on, I would just be cognizant of that and maybe just turn your mobile app off if you're on your computer. But honestly, lately I haven't had many issues with it. So if you're having some issues, we may just have to look at your internal admin portal from that perspective. Yeah.
It's actually getting better even with having the second phone. I actually plugged my phone back in this week since my kids are at home, and I'm going between upstairs and downstairs depending on where my kids are. And my actual desk phone that we bought a year ago with our team solution works way better than it did a year ago. So.
Yeah, I would just say 44 million users is speaks for itself. This is the platform we believe of the future, and we hope to help you guys on that way.
Great.
I see a lot of questions in here.
Do you guys want to draw for the winner on your end? That way they know who's getting that awesome Jabra puck.
I'm just going to select a winner.
You go for it.
That winner today is Tammy Fossum.
Awesome.
Tammy,
Thank you.
I'm going to send you out that Jabra head speaker, and we'll also make sure that one of our guys is out there to help you get it set up so you can demo it and use it. Joe Penaveria, there he is, the man with the Titleist hat on. He is one of my dear friends. He works for Jabra, and again, what we want to do is set ourselves up for the small business to be your entree point or your go-to for any of these potential solutions for the small business. It's our job to create this partner network and deliver those relationships to you at SBT. And Joe's one of them, and so is Abby and all the other Ingram and Microsoft folks on the line today. So it's a community approach, and we're hoping to help the small to mid-sized business gain some of these efficiencies that have been available to larger companies. Now it's available today in the form of a $20 license and some professional services to get you there.
Dan, just let me know where to ship it.
Will do. Actually, you can ship it to me. I'll use it before I give it to Tammy. Just joking.
Well, I believe there's one for you too.
Make sure it works. I'm just kidding. So with that, guys, thank you all so much. I hope this was successful, and we have your emails, and we will continue to bring these solutions to the small business. And I hope that you can see how these can, be applied to your environment in your business. And we are here to help you through these challenging times. I know it's a little crazy when you turn on the news, but you know, I feel a little bit better being plugged in, knowing that there's a community here to help us and support us. So, you know, we want to be your technology partner. We're here to help you through it today and into the future. So with that, have a great day, and thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
Great job, Abby. Awesome.
Thanks. I love the Pancast camera. I'm trying to stop the recording, but it's awesome.